Picture this. It's a humid August night in 1847 Mississippi, and the Whitmore family's grand dining room glows with candlelight. Crystal goblets sparkle like trapped fireflies, red wine swirling as 12 people, Judge Cornelius Whitmore, his wife, their kids, and grandkids, raise their glasses for a toast. They're celebrating the judge's 62nd birthday, laughing, unaware that in minutes they'll all be fighting to breathe. This is the story of Clara, an enslaved woman who brought a powerful plantation to its knees with nothing but arsenic, patience, and a ladle. Where are you right now? What time is it there? Drop a comment below and let me know. If you're hooked by tales of hidden justice and buried secrets, hit that like button and subscribe. This story's been locked away in dusty courthouse records for over a century, and it's about to shake you. It's August 18, 1847 in Natchez, Mississippi. The Whitmore Plantation sprawls across 3,000 acres of cotton fields, the Mississippi River curving nearby like a dark ribbon. Judge Cornelius Whitmore rules his estate like his courtroom, cold, harsh, absolute. His wife, Margaret, manages 47 enslaved people with what she calls Christian firmness, a fancy way of saying control. Tonight, the big house is alive with chatter. Their 4 adult children are home, bringing spouses and grandkids for the judge's birthday. Laughter bounces off the walls, but it's a fragile joy about to turn to screams. Clara, the cook, stands quietly by the kitchen door, her hands folded over her apron, watching every move. The grandfather clock in the parlor chimes 7, each note heavy like a warning bell. The air smells of roasted duck and magnolia blossoms drifting through open windows, but there's another scent, faint and metallic. Arsenic, hidden in every dish. Clara's story starts 11 years earlier in a New Orleans slave market. She was torn from her 2 young daughters, Patience and Grace, sold to a Louisiana sugar plantation. The pain of that loss carved a hole in her heart she'd never fill. At the Whitmore plantation, she became invisible, just a pair of hands. Stirring pots, kneading bread, seasoning meals so well the judge bragged to his friends about his fine table. But Clara wasn't just cooking. For 3 months, she'd been collecting arsenic, sold as rat poison at the general store. No one blinked when an enslaved woman bought it. Plantations always had rats. She hid it in a hollow gourd behind flour sacks, measuring it carefully. Enough to kill, not enough to taste. Tonight, she laced it into everything. The wine sauce, on the duck, the cream on the vegetables, even the birthday cake waiting in the kitchen. Every bite is a death sentence. "Pass the duck," Margaret says to her eldest son, James, not noticing Clara's sharp eyes tracking their hands. 6-year-old Emma, the youngest grandchild, pokes at her plate. "These vegetables taste funny, grandmother," she whines. "Nonsense," Margaret snaps. "Clara's cooking is perfect. Clean your plate." The family chats about cotton prices, politics, and the next big social event, sipping poisoned wine, eating poisoned food, unaware their lives are slipping away with every swallow. Judge Whitmore raises his glass for a third toast. "To family, to prosperity, to our way of life," he booms, voice slurring, not from wine, but from the poison already working. Clara's fingers tighten on the door frame, her heart pounding, but her face blank. By 7:45, the first signs hit. Emma vomits on the tablecloth, her small face pale. Her mother rushes to her, then stumbles, legs buckling. The judge tries to stand, face turning purple, hands clawing at his throat. One by one, they convulse, glasses crashing, plates sliding to the floor. "The food!" someone gasps. "We've been poisoned!" All eyes turn to the kitchen doorway, but Clara's already gone, slipping into the night. The dining room becomes chaos. Chairs topple, bodies hit the polished oak floor. Margaret, foam on her lips, screams Clara's name into the heavy air. Here's where it gets chilling. The other enslaved people in the house don't move to help. Footmen linger in the hall. Housemaids keep folding laundry. A stable boy named Isaac sees Clara heading toward the river with a small bundle, but tells no one. Imagine standing there watching your captors writhe. Would you run for a doctor or let the moment pass? Comment below. What would you do? By 8:15, the dining room is a battlefield, the enemy invisible. The judge lies face down in his birthday cake, frosting smearing his beard. Emma's tiny body goes still first, too small to fight the poison. Her mother, Rachel, wails, clutching her daughter even as her own strength fades. The grandfather. Clock ticks on, each second marking their agony. The sweet magnolia scent is gone, replaced by vomit and fear. The slave quarters glow with lamplight, but no one comes running. Dr. Edmund Hayes, the local doctor, lives just 3 miles away, but his horse stays in the stable. Thomas, an enslaved man, stands frozen in the hallway, watching the judge crawl across Persian rugs worth more than his life. Years later, in a diary, he writes, "I could have run for help. God knows I could have. But I thought of my sister, sold when the judge needed cash, so I stood and watched. Margaret, desperate, rings the servant bell, its sharp notes cutting through the screams. In the kitchen, 6 enslaved workers hear it clearly, Ruth, Samuel, Letty, and others. They exchange glances, a silent conversation, then keep scrubbing pots. James, the judge's son, a lawyer with his father's cruelty, gasps, "Block the roads! Find that woman!" But in the quarters, field hands shut their doors or sit on porches, silent witnesses. Old Moses, who lost 3 fingers to the judges, temper years ago, lets a small smile creep across his face. Meanwhile, Clara moves through swamp paths she memorized over years. Every full moon spent studying roots while gathering herbs. Her bundle holds stolen clothes, $37 taken from Margaret's drawer, and forged papers naming her Sarah Coleman, a free woman. She's 20 miles downriver, following the Underground Railroad's secret map to freedom. By 9 half the family is unconscious, the rest staring at loved ones fading, knowing their turn is next. James scribbles on a napkin with a trembling hand. Clara did this. Ruth, Clara's closest friend, whispers to others that Clara only planned to poison the judge. But that morning, something snapped. Maybe a final insult, a cruel word, or a fresh wound tied to her lost daughters. Clara decided one death wasn't enough. The whole family would pay. By 10, only Margaret clings to life, her hand gripping her husband's cold fingers. In her delirium, she whispers, "Bessie," an enslaved woman who died in childbirth because the judge refused a doctor, saying she wasn't worth the cost. The household staff finally enters, not to help, but to stand in a semicircle, watching like ghosts. Their faces show no pity, no joy, just a stone-cold memory of everything they've endured. At 11:47 p.m., all 12 Whitmores are dead, sprawled. In their fine clothes, the birthday cake still topped with unlit candles. The house falls silent, Spanish moss brushing the windows like whispers. Clara stops at a creek, washing flour and guilt from her nails, erasing her kitchen life. But the 47 enslaved people left behind face a brutal choice. Report the deaths and risk blame, or seize this fleeting chance at freedom. Ruth, the head housemaid, takes charge. She forges a bill of sale claiming Clara was sold to a Georgia plantation 2 weeks ago. When Sheriff William Donovan arrives at 9:43 a.m., he finds Ruth sobbing, eyes red from onion juice, not tears. "It happened so fast, Sheriff," she says. "They were celebrating then." She gestures to the dining room, now a grim still life of corpses. Dr. Marcus Webb, the coroner, examines the bodies, noting cherry-red skin and foam at their mouths, classic arsenic poisoning. The amount suggests deliberate murder, not spoiled food. He spots a magnolia petal on the kitchen floor. Odd, since no magnolia trees grow near the house. Only by the river path Clara took. The kitchen is spotless, cleaned overnight by the staff. The rat poison jar behind the flour sacks holds exactly what the receipt says. No trace of Clara's work. Ruth insists they all cooked. Clara made the sauces before she left. I finished the rest. Samuel carved the duck. Letty did the vegetables. The blame spreads thin, impossible to pin. But Sheriff Donovan's suspicious. Something doesn't add up. The investigation stalls as the enslaved community holds firm, their silence a fortress. Clara's 20 miles away, riding a lumber wagon with a free black driver, part of the Underground Railroad. Her forged papers hold up, her new identity as Sarah Coleman unshaken. Back at the plantation, fear spreads through Natchez. White families lock their kitchens, fire their cooks, or make enslaved workers taste every dish. Clara's act ripples outward, planting dread in every plantation home. Was she a monster or a mother driven to extremes? Her daughters, Patience and Grace, were sold to families tied to the Whitmores, a network of cruelty Clara traced through years of whispered secrets. Did she kill for revenge, or to clear a path to find them? Clara's story doesn't end in that river. It's a saga of loss, rage, and a mother's unbreakable will. Did she reach her daughters? Did the hunt catch up? Subscribe for Part 2, dropping soon, to uncover the rest. Comment below. Could you forgive Clara's choice? Or is justice always black and white? What time is it where you are? And does this story hit differently imagining it in your town? Let's keep Clara's tale alive, a whisper of rebellion that still echoes through history.